The nature of a good woman. Can you recognize it? Oh boy, what a loaded topic. I probably can't cover all aspects of the nature of a good woman in this particular video, but I'll still provide a good, solid foundation on which to build for future videos in this segment. A good woman can be quite the beautiful asset for successful gentlemen. The challenge is to know her characteristics when you find her, amid all the bad women who think they are good women out there. In these men's spaces, we've seen quite the criticism of modern womanism in all its form. This has evolved in response to the domination of feminism in the very influential mainstream media. Unfortunately, this has exacerbated a rift between the sexes that has made the dating pool toxic for many. But we have to work on healing that rift, and it starts with understanding the opposite sex. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep this new channel growing. Most of those women who despise traditional womanhood in favor of modern womanism didn't get that way because they were born to despise men. Oh no, my brothers. A series of events over their lives led them down that path. These life-changing events trigger emotions in them that many men don't understand. A few guys with ill intention often manipulate these events to get what they want from women. We like to call these guys players, pookies, chads, etc. With each negative event comes a wave of emotions in the spiritual ocean deep inside women. Throw a small pebble in this ocean and it will cause a small wave. But throw one or more boulders in the ocean and you risk causing a damaging hurricane. That kind of devastating storm can cause significant structural damage in women. This is, by and large, what happens in women, which is why we have to be empathetic when they react certain ways to men. For men, we handle these pebbles and boulders with more emotional resilience. It is in us to respond like emergency response teams, as you notice when they respond to dangerous storms like Hurricane Ian in Florida right now, unfortunately. Our prayers to those people out in Florida right now. But for women, it's not quite like that. In fact, they need us to be their emergency response team. But they first want us to let them describe the storm in every detail and its devastation on their lives before we respond. And if you think about it, that makes sense because we need to know the extent of the damage before we can implement the proper solution. Pay attention. So, we have to lead them away from the bitter parts of modern womanism using a more empathetic, problem-solving approach. I know it's tough, but hang in there. Just trust me, hang in there. This is not easy given how the media has exploited the rift between the sexes in the West. But as gentlemen, as leaders, this is not an impossible task. Though a few hardened women will stay stubborn, we know that. But I welcome your comments below on this topic. A good woman innately wants to be the support to a good man, regardless if she's traditional or modern. The modern womanism aspect just puts a lot of women deeper in the rabbit hole than they are willing to admit. But you, fine gentlemen, can still lead her out of that rabbit hole by being a better version of yourself. You can do it, gentlemen. Trust me, you can do it. It's not about game or swag, as there are even nerdy guys with none of those who get beautiful women. Yes, guys, there's some nerdy guys who get women too, by the way. If your only goal is to smash and dash, then perhaps practicing your game and adopting swag is okay for that lifestyle. Do your thing. But strong communities are not built on that. They're built on good families made up of good men marrying good women. Game and swag, when done irresponsibly, only leads to broken families that weaken communities and leave single-parent households poor damaging the dreams of the children born into them. And blame goes both ways, both to the man and the woman. Good women are not overly impressed with game and swag. In fact, I advise men to avoid getting serious. Don't marry these kind of women who like that kind of game and swag, because those kind of women usually have some form of low self-esteem or will be easily tempted by the next man with game and swag. What a good woman wants is a good family, headed by a good man. Not all modern women want to be equal partners in a family, despite what the media wants us to think. I've mentioned in a previous video that a marriage is like a corporation. There's only one CEO. Never in history has there been a consistent, successful corporation with two CEOs. Why? Because someone has to be the top visionary, the top builder, the top decision maker. Kingdoms in history, back in the day, have only been headed by one king. If you try to have two CEOs or two kings or whatever, the corporate vision will be confusing and paralyze the organization. The same is true of marriage. Jesus instructed men to love their wives the way he loves the church. Implied in this statement is that the king loves his queen, where the king is head over the queen. Pay attention. Now, most women understand this, even the modern ones, though they can't say it out loud. When they go out on dates, they want the man to take charge and plan those dates. Why? Because it is in them to want a good man to lead. When bad things happen, those women, the good women, want the man to protect them. Kings protect their citizens the same way. When a foreign enemy tries to invade the kingdom, the citizens want the king's army to protect them. This is natural. Likewise, it is natural for a good woman to want a good man to come to the rescue when an enemy threatens her. Now, of course, common sense here, a good woman does not do anything foolish to invite an enemy unnecessarily either. Pay attention, ladies. To pursue a good woman, just be yourself, gentlemen. Ideally, be the best version of yourself. This includes some style and grooming, but more importantly, it involves meeting her in an organic way when you least expect it. Dating apps are not good for this anymore because it is not organic. They're not organic anymore. Nor does it lead to organic meetups. They are time wasting because the motives of men and women are not conducive for healthy dating. It's not impossible to find a good person on dating apps, but increasingly unlikely in the 2020s. So that means you'll have to include good old-fashioned in-person meetings in unexpected, not too public places, right? Coffee places, that kind of place, or libraries, whatever, but not gas stations or on the street. Nightclubs are not that. They're not organic. Random spots on the street like gas stations and bus stops are not always ideal either, because anyone, any random person, any crazy person can pop up there, and they, like I just said, might be crazy. It should be a place that kind of filters out people and filters in the kinds of people who share certain common interests with you. For example, on a trip to visit my ailing father recently, I stayed in an upscale hotel in a city known for successful, high net worth, bougie people. I was solo, so at night I went to the bar lounge in that hotel resort that had a nice lo-fi vibe with a DJ. I just happened to strike up organic conversations with nearby people, just talking, right? Just hanging out, socializing. Eventually, a group came up to the bar next to me, and a very attractive woman in that group made small talk with me because she was pushing up against me because of the people in her group at the bar. So mind you, I was texting someone at the same time, so I wasn't trying to, game her or rely on swag to talk to her. I was just really texting somebody at the same time we were talking. So it was pretty much more like an afterthought talking to her. I was dressed with my typical night style and well-groomed, so I was already ready and, for that moment. So that always helps in moments you least expect it, basically, to be well-groomed and styled. Anyway, so the guy who I think she was paired with in that group was not happy that she paid more attention to me than him. He said, "Why are you talking to him?" Again, I wasn't trying to talk to her actually, but long story short, as she and I chatted here and there, we ended up having a lot in common, including the fact that she had just visited the upscale Dallas suburb I live in. On top of that, she was already planning to return to the suburb where I live at, so we just exchanged numbers. And that's my point. So once again, I was in a fairly expensive hotel in one of the nicest cities in the country, and not everybody's just popping up in there. So anyway, going back to her again, who knows if she's traditional, modern, or something in between. The kind of place I was at already filters out a lot of people because it's pricey, it's expensive, but also the quality of people are better at places like that. No doubt you can find similar situations at cultural events you might attend. Good restaurants, museums with national art exhibits, special events or business conferences, happy hours with social networking, etc. A good woman will come your way in such places, and you, my gentlemen, have to be ready for that moment. Be styled in a way that complements your personality, but that also is appealing to the kind of good woman you want. Your gentlemanly charm and personality can pierce through any modern armor effortlessly. I should say modern woman armor effortlessly. I'm definitely not advocating you do extra work to pierce that armor, as that is the woman's job to take off that doggone armor for the right man. It is the nature of most women to respond to a good gentleman. But the genuinely traditional-minded good woman will win out, of course. So ladies, with that "I don't need a man" mindset, need to realize that they have to prepare themselves to remove that armor of modern womanism if they want a shot at competing with against a modest traditional-minded good woman. It is natural for that good woman, that traditional woman, to be feminine, which makes a good woman great to a man. I'll leave it right there until next time, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep this new channel growing. Until men understand the nature of good women, the apocalypse of good men will continue. Welcome to the Brother Apocalypse.